Well, thank you very much for the invitation and the kind, warm welcome, Mr. Chairman. And also, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are also energized. You took a short break. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. As mentioned, today, Philips, we have two business groups. So one business group is focusing on the health systems, so the things that you would find in the hospital, such as MRI scan, CT scan. And the other side of the business, we are focusing on consumer electronics, so the personal health division. We talk about shavers, sonic care, toothbrush, OneBlade, maybe some of you are familiar in the audience. So I'm leading the commercial part of the personal health business as being the global head of business development. And in my career so far, I also enjoyed FMCG world for a long period of time, some big global brands and in different geographies. And today, I want to talk to you about the transformation that we had in Philips. How we put the consumer at the center of our omnichannel development. And I will talk about the disruption of technology, its implications for consumer, its implications for the customer, where we find our inspiration, how we did the transformation, where we are today, and I really would like to give some meat on the bone. So I would like you guys also to leave with some of the key learnings, some critical data from our failures and from our successes. But before going into the disruption, let me introduce you Jack. So Jack is a young, smart boy, 14 years old, and in the French educational system, he would be going to the middle school, I don't know, in Germany. However, in the first semester, he was struggling with one of his lessons. So from machine learning and AI, I do hope in the educational system nowadays, we already start educating young people with those concepts. Putting this aside, so he has been struggling with, in the first semester with machine learning. His parents told him, hey Jack, let's make a deal. If you would bring us in the spring semester a good score on the machine learning, we offer you a gift of your choice. And we can close the summer holiday with that. So Jack got excited. By the way, he's a big gamer. He likes PC gaming. So Jack actually wanted to have the new PS5, so PlayStation 5, and he likes playing the Minecraft Legend, the new game. So he put hours, he kept studying, he spent his spring, and the actually study worked out. He got an A. So when he got an A, he went to his parents and said, hey guys, so machine learning, I passed. So today is 4th of May. I want to get a new PlayStation PS5. And he brought his dad to one of the consumer electronics store. Let's call it Planet Jupiter. And the Planet Jupiter store, they went in to look for a PS5. And you know what? PS5 was out of stock. But instead, they have PlayStation 4. And Jack's dad said, you know, boy, it is not so bad. By the way, you can also play, similar game. Maybe you wouldn't get the same performance, but it's not so bad. But you may imagine Jack's reaction. He said, hey, I put my 6 months, I got the exam, I want to get PS5. Jack's dad said, don't worry, boy, I know where to find it. We need to go to the global biggest e-commerce platform, Nile.com. Because on the Nile.com, we would have it's the longest river in the planet, so there must be the PS5 available. So when they searched, they saw the offer of PlayStation available, 690 euros. By the way, keep in mind, we are in May. And also the new Minecraft Legends at 70 bucks. So together, we are talking about 760 euros budget that Jack would need. But on the Nile.com, there are a variety of products, there are variations, right? So Jack's father saw there is a very good offer in a virtual bundle. Hey, Jack, we could get PlayStation 5 with the new FIFA from EA Sports. Instead of 770 with a 10% discount, we could only pay 699. That's a good deal, isn't it? By the way, you may imagine Jack's father is also wouldn't mind to play the football game. So he's also looking for opportunity for himself. Or if you do not want, there's also the new Spider-Man. But Jack said, hey, Dad, I want the Minecraft, you know? I mean, I really want to get the Minecraft. Then Jack's dad said, hey, you know, I have a subscription on the Nile.com. It is the premium ship subscription. And what I need from you, we have a premium day in July, so give me 1.5 months. I'm sure there will be a deal. I'm sure Nile.com will put a very good offer when it comes to premium day. So they waited 1.5 months. And when the premium day came, they checked, there is no discount on PS5. Well, apparently, Sony is very happy with their sales. Maybe they don't have components. Maybe they simply sold the products before the premium day. So there is no deal. Minecraft Legends, by the way, they sold so much, so apparently company lost the buy box button, so they went to the third party, and the price is right now 100 euros instead of 70. So the budget actually increased 30 bucks more. And Father is also interested to see, hey, what about the deals that we had with the FIFA? Maybe at least I could get FIFA for myself. By the way, the FIFA deal is also not there anymore, because in the European omnibus regulations-wise, they need to show the lowest price, so the deal is off the table. And of course, in the Nile.com, there are the same product categories, there is a deal. And voila, we have the Nintendo Switch. Who wouldn't like to have Nintendo Switch? And there's a deal together with the Mario Kart. That's a great proposition, isn't it, Jack? What do you think Jack would react to this? Are you familiar with this situation? Are you familiar that we as industrials, retailers, we are pushing the offers to the consumers before putting their needs, then first our targets, what they should buy, when they should buy, how they should buy, what price they should buy, instead of understanding them. Let's keep this in mind, and let me bring to the disruption of the technology and where Jack inspired us. So, as technology evolves and keeps shaping our lives, in order to thrive in the digital era for any company, the one wants to survive must focus on the consumer understanding and translating the consumer preferences according to their needs. And if I talk about consumer, today's consumer is very different than what I started my career with. So I would group the new consumer needs on the 4 main titles. So today, consumers are not looking for cheap stuff. They are looking for the right value for the money that they want to pay. And actually, they are very interested for the premium price. They are into the premiumization. How we can premiumize our consumer? That will bring me to the second point, personalization. So personalization, our consumers are looking for authentic, end-to-end value generation according to their needs. And if we can create this engagement with our consumer, we would be able to create the brand loyalty, and we would be able to create also a repurchase intention. The third element would be sustainability. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. Our choices of consumption, how it impacts our planet, consumers are much more aware. Our global corporate industrials are much more aware about it. And I'm not talking about simple packaging execution. I'm talking about creating at the design stage how to make an eco-friendly proposition, because consumers are looking for what is in for us. It's not about what is in for me anymore. What do you do for my country, for my planet, for my resources? And the fourth element I would talk about would be the convenience. And convenience, I'm referring to seamless execution within Omnichannel. Jack should feel comfortable to find the proposition wherever he looks at, wherever is convenient for him. Do you think Jack wouldn't check before going to Media Jupiter Storm? Wouldn't he check something online? For sure he did. He just most probably wanted to go to store, check the proposition by itself. But regardless, as companies, what we need to ensure that we have the cycle of our traditional trade, our e-commerce partners, our social selling, so social media selling, and our app. This circle needs to be seamless execution for our consumers, so we will enable them the best shopping experience for them. Talking about channels, let me jump into also the social media selling and how the new consumer decision journey has been shaped. So today, especially in the Western world, Instagram is one of the big platforms. It used to, actually, it is the authentic connection moment between different consumer groups. But if you look at it, 80% of consumers today, they are following at least a company, And what Instagram is proposing is not the product. They are proposing the experience. So when you look at the screen, it's not the product that you want to purchase. Is you want to get this experience, and if you simply click on one of the items, then the app would bring you to choices of you can buy on the brand store of this company, you can buy on e-commerce site, you can also buy on the offline store, because maybe it's a shoes, I mean, you know, every company has different size structure, maybe you want to go, you want to try, it is super convenient. By the way, as a side note, our friends in China, they discovered this many years ago. However, talking about consumer decision journey, that would remind me the days when I was working in marketing in FMCG. It has been changed massively. When we were working on those big brands, when we were reaching to our consumer, we were following a linear approach. So you have a big brand, so you want to leverage the power of the brand. You want to create awareness about something new is coming for you, dear consumer. We would create the engagement and trust with our consumer, with our marketing communication, in-store execution, we would reach them. And when we have the conversion, we would park this relationship for a while. So see you next time when we propose something new, or next time you need us. Today, it is changed massively. Today, we do not know where it starts, where it ends. Today, as I said, Jack maybe searched it first on Nile.com, maybe searched it on social media. Regardless, maybe he went to the physical store, he wanted to order online, or he wanted for convenience to be delivered at home. Only thing that we know, we need to create an ecosystem where we can put those customers in an omnichannel way that they can have a symbiotic life. They can add to our consumers' decision journey. They can help each other. They would not compete with each other. Talking about channel conflict and competition, that brings me to disruption point number 2. So it's not a surprise, especially in the COVID era, we had a massive disruption when it comes to our retail environment. And it's not a surprise, the e-commerce customers are the winners. Only thing that COVID impacted is simply it put the transformation speed from gear number 2 to 5. And what are the implications? Offline retailers, they need to consolidate. So less amount of offline retailers for industries like us. That means we have higher increased dependency on bigger, fewer customers. And if you give all the products that you have to those 5, 6 customers, they would fight with each other on the price. And we wouldn't be able to explain to our consumer, hey, we have a blue toothbrush in customer X, and we have a black toothbrush in customer Y. There's a price difference. Actually, color is just a consumer preference. It's not linked to pricing. We wouldn't be able to justify neither to our customer nor to consumer, and we would put them in front of an impossible choice. But there are some good news as well. When we were looking for solution, and I was looking for solutions, something outside of our industry, somewhere that I got more inspiration about, which was on the fashion sport goods. And I was always impressed about Nike's commercial transformation that they had. So you may remember, before COVID era, Nike used to have official brand store on Amazon.com. And what they did for many years, they simply collected the data of their consumer. Who is my consumer? What is the purchase intention? How do they ended up on Amazon.com? Is there any other platform they are co-sharing, or is there a physical store influence? They identified their shopper, they identified the channelization principles, and they simply translated them into their distribution strategy. The thing that I admired, and we, as I said, inspired from them, is simplicity in their commercial strategy. So today, they look at three main things. Product differentiation. Here we are talking about technological superiority of Nike propositions. So I'm talking about, for example, Nike Air Max, Nike Pegasus. Looking at different consumer groups, they have innovation. Second one, market niche. They have different sub-brands. So they have Air Jordan, they have Converse. But it's not about the brand, it's about these brand ambassadors. Consumers are looking for how I can have more organic connection with the sportsman that I'm admiring, and how I can be much more attached to it. Third one is the retailer intimacy, and here what I'm talking about is, it is not about killing all the customers and focusing just on one platform or one channel. It's about how to create this ecosystem that customers can give the best consumer experience. Let's look at their distribution strategy. I think it's not a surprise for anybody. It's simply divided into selling to wholesalers and their direct-to-consumer business. But what is different, what they did, in this transformation, they shifted the massive percentage of wholesalers part to direct-to-consumer when they stopped the Amazon business. However, every single channel, they play a role for their customer. So we have on the wholesaler brands like Foot Locker, JD. These are premium customers. So they have exclusive product. So for consumer, it's a good reason to go to Foot Locker to see a product they can find only on Foot Locker. And Foot Locker wouldn't fight with JD because they would have their own exclusivity. If they want to do promotion, they can do it perfectly. Intersport, different consumer group. It's more about main distribution, mainstream product. Also for consumer, this platform, this store, they would go because they would need new shoes. Also, the promo mechanism is different. They are more linked to flyers. They are more linked to maybe monthly deals. But what they did massively on direct-to-consumer part, their learnings, they recreated their flagship store. Flagship store they have is not about buying shoes or PSG shirt or Hamburg shirt or Berlin shirt. It's about having the full experience of a football or soccer field, basketball field, or what are those brand ambassadors are doing. Premiumization. When it comes to Nike ID, they offered premiumization via personalization. I think everybody knows people has willingness to premiumize on the proposition if they're able to make it much more authentic for themselves. And the third one, they didn't stop also the brand promotion, like they still exist on Zalando.com. So for anybody who is looking for Nike proposition, they do have a place for it. Today, actually close colleague of mine also working for Nike, I know they have some struggles now because this commercial strategy has been playing very positively for them, but logistical background is not catching up with the commercial strategy yet. So you may imagine the massive shift on sales to direct to consumer when they have return on their own platform is a little bit difficult to manage, but they are getting better and better. Let's keep this commercial strategy and omni-channel distribution strategy in our mind, and what does it mean for Philips? So we had the same problems. Philips has been global leader on personal care and benefited for a very long time by simply proposing many products to many different channels. Until a moment, there was a complete clash to understand, actually, we are not able to drive our consumer. There is no logical build-up on our portfolio. Different channels are fighting for promotion. And actually, when one of them starts promoting, the other one is following, and we are not able to bring back the price. So our questions were, how we can create the best shopping experience for our consumer, how we can make the most impactful promotion in order to get market share. By the way, in order to win on the big high velocity sales events, we need to win every single day. So how can we create a omnichannel strategy? So for consumer, it is the best place to shop every single day in the year. Thinking like Nike, we put things simple. So on Philips Personal Care, we are talking about 15 different product groups and thousands of SKUs. We said we are going to focus on 3 things. And those 3 things, we are going to create disproportionate growth. Why? Because these are premium products. These are going to bring us high selling prices. So for also our target of every selling price will be much higher. We will be able to promote. We will limit their distribution. And market share-wise, we do see, as I said, consumers are looking for premiumization. So actually, premium part of the market is growing. So if we increase our average selling price, it's going to be translated as a market share. And one watch out, we are not going to create thousands of derivatives in order to satisfy different customers. Instead, we are going to look at our consumer and we are going to increase our product rotation. Instead of making 25 different things, we will do 3 things and we will sell these 3 things much more faster. What does it mean for our transformation? I will briefly go into each bucket. So we started with making a massive consumer research. By the way, just to keep in mind, Philips shaving is almost a century old and very proud, claiming knowing the consumer the best. And I promise you, we rediscovered our consumer. But the most important thing is how we translate the consumer into the shopper. That was the biggest gap that we hadn't done before. So we had a massive research that took us almost a year in 5 different geographies of the planet. At the same time, we did also another massive research in parallel to understand our customers. So as Philips, we do business with almost 900 different customers in the planet. But for your information, 15 of them, 15 of them represents half of our turnover. So we said, okay, we need to understand those customers and how they behave together. So we did this commercial research as well in parallel, these 5 big regions, also almost around the year. And on the third element, we translated them into commercial tools. What is our price points we need to cover? Which products needs to be exclusive at which customer? What is the seasonality? How we can translate them all into one promo calendar that we would see every single day. We are preparing our consumer needs throughout the year, different customers, and with the best promotional experience to our consumer. But let me also emphasize the most difficult part of this transformation is the breaking silo within the company. Because everybody, you may imagine, is looking at what is my sales in customer X, what is my sales in my own market, what is my market share in my region. So that took us the biggest part of our transformation journey, where we had actually 6 months, during 6 months, different trainings in order to break these silos and bring more enterprise mindset, putting more consumer at the center instead of selling. Let's go quickly in the detail. Shopper, understanding shopper. So we identified after this full year 4 main shopper profiles. The only difference in 5 different regions, the ratio between them is different. For example, there is one shopper profile we call Louis. Louis is 60% of the DACH region. But if you go to France, Louis represents maybe only 35%, but similar profile. For myself, maybe I have a very similar consumer profile as Jack Stat, but I promise you, as a shopper, we are very different. That was the massive transformation that we had, how we translate from consumer to shopper. Second one, customers. And let's be honest, we cannot win everywhere. We got to win at the channels and customers that matters, that is linked to our shopper, where they go and where we need to create the disproportionate growth. And also, the trade itself is very different. For example, if you go to Carrefour, the consumer is not looking for a toothbrush that is more expensive than 200 euros. And they are not also waiting for special Prime Day to be able to purchase a new toothbrush. but they are looking for more a flyer that, hey, actually next month there's a good deal, maybe I should buy a new one blade. However, if you want to win on the e-commerce, we knew that we got to trick on high-velocity sales events like 11/11, like Cyber Week, like Prime Day. And to win there, we know we needed to win every single day. How we support it with our commercial toolkit? So this is the male grooming example. We do not talk about beard trimmer or a shaver, hair clipper, body groomer. Consumer does not understand. 3 simple things. Somebody who wants to shave, somebody who wants to trim the hair on the face, or somebody wants to remove everything in the body. 3 main consumer benefits. And these 3 main consumer benefits, we link to 4 main channels. Of course, here you see just the leading channel for privacy purposes, you may imagine. We put the Philips store at the center of everything because this is our direct-to-consumer channel, where we would give exclusivity for a new product launch for a period of time. So good reason for our consumer to come. But it is not the platform that we would compete with Amazon. Our added value of Philips.com is just to give the best consumer experience, is also to give where there is an innovation coming. Same logic build up for our pure players, hyper supermarkets, and electronic retailers. We went to the next stage. We look at what are the price points we need to cover every single day. So you might be familiar with, back in France, in Carrefour, there is a special event called Beauty Days. So this Beauty Days event would happen around April, May. So you may not wait for Prime Day or a special event to have a new toothbrush or new nose trimmer. But I promise you, Frenchmen would buy their body groomer on this event because it is just before summer and they want to show their muscular body at the beach. So, and if you look at our sales, these 4 weeks of the year for body groom represents 70% of our turnover for the body groom. So we better choose something and focus on this moment, either for in and out, if the customer allows, and Carrefour is a good customer for in and out, or same logic for a high-end shaver. It is about Prime Day that we need to focus with Amazon. It's about other e-commerce players that are very much focused on premiumization for gift giving. We put all this information into one promo calendar with consumer needs, with every single day propositions, and we also checked, of course, what is happening in the industry. Because, I mean, you may imagine we might be the leader, but if rest of the audience is looking for a hair dryer, it doesn't make sense also to offer a shaver. So it is also, in a way, we need to keep an eye on what's happening in the market. Keeping this in mind, as I said, all the principle of this digital transformation was also about the fact that we cannot win simply on focusing super peak moments. As a consumer, by yourself, would you, if you go to Prime Day and you see a new product from, well, let's say we are in Germany, so let's think about Braun, very good brand. If they would put a new toothbrush that nobody purchased so far, there are no reviews, no stars, nothing. I promise you, not many of you would be interested to buy it. So what we need to do, we need to give space to our consumer to experience it, have authentic relationship, and build this brand when the moment comes. Cyber Week, Prime Day, Christmas, back to school. This is all translated to, this is the example of male grooming promo calendar. Of course, some things are hidden, but let me guide you on what it represents. So on the left-hand side, simple consumer benefits. Top part, you do see months, and the color of the month represents the weight of this month in the year in different channel. And those color codes on the across the year are representing some customer groups. So with that in mind, we could see, by the way, just in male grooming business, if you could imagine, if you put everything on, if you would put everything on June period, maybe some people would be not able to understand why we have a shaver. At the same time, we are promoting something who could also shave. So we would cannibalize each other. That would enable us to offer our consumer the best proposition every single day. And I will also share with you where we are today in this transformation. But before that, let me recap on what are our key learnings and maybe some take home. As I said, let's be humble on consumer understanding. And I'm talking on behalf of a company who makes business over a century, almost a century, for shaving. Most important thing is consumer and how we help them during their consumer decision journey, how we translate them into different shopper profiles. It's not about selling a proposition, it's about creating engagement with our consumer. We need to update our channelization principles, those different customers in one bucket, because it's changing very quickly. I will just go into where we are today as Philips with that. It's an iterative process. We failed many times at the beginning. We learn by trying and error because things are changing as well. Today, for example, an example in Germany, if you look at high-end consumer electronics and the shopper I'm talking about, Louis, he would look at before purchasing Amazon.com, Otto, and MediaMarkt for sure. These three he would check. So today we do see that these three is actually helping each other. If you do a price discount on Amazon, Otto is not going for a war against Amazon. Actually, we do see that in today's reality, they are helping each other. They are actually, this is the symbiosis that we try to create in just one small example. And the last but not the least, we need to go hand in hand with the consumer on backwards engineering. So the success of our transformation so far has been putting a market share target on premiumization, because this is what consumer is looking for. How we can bring this market share target, creating a new proposition using AI, data, and consumer itself at a very early stage, translate to activation principles and reach in execution. And the last but not the least, this is an example of Philips transformation today on the commercial strategy. So on the top 7, this is the 7 biggest customers that they have wild card. So we built our massive distribution and exclusivity with them, for them. Of course, they also do have some collaboration with some other customers, which you may imagine, I cannot show it here, but today they live in a symbiosis. You may imagine, if you think about JD and Tmall, this is 2 different consumer groups in China. So JD is much more premium, Tmall is much more mainstream. However, there are still commonalities we need to create via TikTok. So consumer goes to TikTok, TikTok drives them to premiumization, they ended up in JD. TikTok does a limited deal with a brand ambassador, and they ended up in Tmall. So today, we actually, in February, we already closed the iteration of the ratio of shopper profiles. So we are not creating new shopper profiles, but what is the shift market by market? Currently, we are discussing with our top customers on our channelization principles, looking at data and our readiness for the upcoming period. And that would mean we would be translating them into portfolio choices, exclusivity, promotion, and activation. Everything, we got to finish it by June, because depending on the customer topography, especially e-commerce, we could be fast. However, if you want to introduce an innovation, something doesn't exist in the market, if a customer says, hey, we just discovered you need to have a shaver that has a 5-turning roll, we would need time. So the agreement that we have, by June, we would close this discussion to be ready for 2025. That's what I have in a nutshell today. I wanted to also share with you full transparently on what we discovered, what we are learning every single day, and what are the points of attention to make Jack and people like Jack happy. Thank you.